more controversy in the story of the Tennessee mother who returned her adopted child to Russia. There are new reports that Tori Hansen was trying to adopt a second child. And while local authorities consider pressing charges against her, Russian officials are threatening to halt all adoptions to the United States. Joining me to discuss this case are Dr. Charles Sophie, psychiatrist and medical director for the LA County Department of Children and Family Services, and Elisa White-Karwowski, author of A Guide to Russian Adoption, Professional Counseling and Personal Insights, and the mother of 2 adopted sons from Russia as well. But Elisa, now you adopted 2 sons from Russia.
From St. Petersburg, yes.
Was your experience anything like this?
It wasn't at all, thankfully. We, when my husband and I went to travel to Russia, we opted to have a second medical done on both of our children, and that's a repeat of blood work and also a repeat of every test that had been done on them at that point, up to that point. And we met with Dr. Yuri Yaroshenko in the Euromed Clinic.
Yeah.
And he was a pediatrician actually in the United States for 10 years. And everything that he said to us is exactly what was confirmed at the Floating Hospital in Boston, the International Adoption Clinic, as well as with our pediatrician in Portsmouth, New Hampshire. So for us, thankfully, we had the opposite. We didn't have any issues like that with health or emotional issues with our children.
The grandmother of this adopted child, I call the grandmother, the adopted mother's mother, she has said, quote, Russian orphanage officials completely lied to her daughter, because they wanted to get rid of him. Do you buy that?
I really don't. Knowing the Russians that we've worked with, they care about the children in the orphanages and they want what's best for them. There is no way that I would ever believe that somebody who basically volunteers their time in an orphanage would send a child into or send a child where they thought he shouldn't go, or maybe that he wasn't healthy enough behaviorally or whatever.
But this was a different orphanage from the one you used.
It was.
So you never know.
I don't, but I know that they hardly make any money. They're often there because they themselves haven't had children. And I have seen firsthand in the orphanage the love that the caretakers have given to not only to my children, but other children, including children with handicaps. So they wouldn't do that. I don't think that they would set up an American family or a child.
I see. Dr. Sophie, in your experience with adoptions, would Hansen have been aware she was adopting a troubled child?
I would hope that she's aware of the fact that she's adopting a child that has any kind of issue. As was said earlier, you get medical records, you have the opportunity to get a second medical evaluation and a psychiatric mental health evaluation. The facts are there. How you interpret them is up to you. You may not want to believe the fact that he may have had alcohol exposure or drug exposure and in utero, and that would have an effect. But the facts of the matter are that they are there in the medical records, and it's up to you to really get the clarity you need to make an informed decision. And there is no excuse not to be able to make a decision.
Well, adapting to the new situation for this boy would take some time. I think that sounds like she went ahead, she jumped the gun.
Yeah, you know, in a sympathetic way, I do know the feeling of, you know, there is a little, maybe a little piece of you that's a little like, I want this to work, we can make this work, we've done so much to get to this point. But the point is, this is a life decision for not only the child, but for your family. So you do have to take that step, you know, take a step back and not let your heart get involved and not think that you can maybe handle something that's a little too difficult for you.
First thing that you do, Dr. Sophie, when you brought the child to the United States is take a child for a checkup and find out if there's anything you should deal with? I don't know that she did any of that.
Absolutely. I mean, there's evaluations that need to be done once you get to this country. Plus, there's those givens of when you're going to adopt a child, whether it's internationally or domestically within the country. There's that honeymoon period. There's the period for them to kind of get to know you. Then they're going to act out. They're going to push against you. They're going to try to make you leave them because they're used to being left. And you have to stay and work through that test to show them that they can trust you and that they can love you. And if you fail that, which it seems like in this case we failed, we send that child back. And at the end of the day, there is a child who was suffering damage after damage and episode after episode of being rejected and being told in many different ways that he's broken.
It's terrible.
And this little boy only lived with her for 6 months.
Yeah.
And the older the children are, research suggests that it takes longer for that adjustment.
Absolutely.
To, you know, he's lost his language, his culture, his little friends were his family, his food,
well, just
everything.
to play devil's advocate, they claim that the boy was threatening to set the house on fire, took a 3-pound statue and threw it at one of the aunts.
But you know what,
in the family.
Joy,
I mean, they were scared, maybe.
I understand that. I deal with those behaviors every day. We have many different resources within this country that we can deal with those kinds of aggressive, threatening, violent behaviors, no matter where they're coming from adoption issues or mental health issues or
early trauma.
Whatever. Yeah, emergency rooms, crisis teams, the post-adoption services that should be in place with the agency that set up this adoption should definitely be in place for this woman to reach to.
You know, now Russian officials have threatened to halt all adoptions to the United States. Dr. Sophie, what does that mean for American families who are waiting to adopt children from Russia? They won't be able to do it?
Yeah, I mean, what that means is it's a sad situation that they either will slow the process down till they clarify this, or that they will put a stop to it, which I think is really sad for the families and the children who could be united together and become a nice, solid, stable, safe, and permanent family, which is what every child should have, a safe and permanent, loving family, whether it's biological or not. So hopefully that won't stop the process.
Okay, let me just run this little tape. The local Tennessee sheriff on this case has spoken out about possible charges. Listen to this.
We're looking now, abuse has been mentioned. We're looking at maybe possibly abandonment, several different things along those lines.
Alyssa, this woman has possibly poisoned the well for a lot of other families. But you're here saying how great it was to adopt these children, so we're counteracting a lot of that.
Right, I am. I think, from my perspective, what the Russians really are looking for is some assurance that we can protect and we can be sure that once these children are placed, what they require, the Russian Federation requires a post-placement visit 6 months, 1 year, and 2 years. And ironically, this boy's just been home 6 months. So I don't know what happened there. Right. And then not only that, but certainly they want some other bilateral agreement. I believe that they've invited our government to Moscow to discuss this so that we can sign something to say, listen, we're all in this together. Yeah. This is for the betterment of the human beings, adults and children.
According to the reporter from CNN, it sounds as though he has other options in Russia and other people are rushing to adopt him. So we hope that's true. Thanks very much, both of you. We'll be back.